Good evening, everyone. This is the day six of MERN series. I'm Naveen Kumar, and today I'll show you how we can basically create a book schema and the book model. Just like we were able to create, we have already seen something that is user schema and the user model. And with the help of that user schema and the model, we were able to create our users' data in our database, and we were able to store it, and we were also able to see those users' data, basically users' credentials to be precise enough in our database. And in a similar manner, I'm going to show you how we can basically create the book schema and the book model. Nothing special. We are just going for we're just going to create our book schema and the book model to create create our book. So whenever we want to create our book, we can create in that format. So let me start to share my screen. Let me just go to the VS Code, and you can see that this is the today's agenda. That is the stage five, wherein I'll show you how we can basically create the book schema, and after that we'll create a book model. Inside the book model, we will basically pass our schema, and and one more thing, that is the collection. Just like we create our user schema and our user model. As you can see that we in the user model, I, I added those two arguments. That is, it always asks you to two arguments. That is, first is the collection name, and second is your user schema. The schema, whatever the schema you created, those need to pass that. And based on that, you can uh, create your collection, and inside that collection you can basically a folder. Inside that folder you will pass your you will be able to store that particular data inside that folder. So you can see that this is my Mongo Atlas, where I've opened this database. That is the book management app, which I've already shown you that how we can create a book management app. And inside this there is a folder. Folder is not, to be precise in a technical term, is a collection name uh, that which I've already created by passing this argument users. And inside this user, if I open this collection, now I'll show you something that this is the data users data that which I've stored in this users collection. And in the same manner, we're going to learn that how we can create our book schema and the book models. So in the future, when we when we will be uh, when we want to create our book, we can we should be able to store it in the I mean, it should be stored in our database. So let's begin this. And for that, I don't need to do anything specific. So I'll go to my README, and this is the file which I wanted to create. So I'll say uh, in this model, I'll create a book schema. So let's say book schema.js. I need to create this file. And don't worry, I'll basically separate these files in the future in my GitHub repo. Uh, for this moment, I'm just creating it in the models directly. So let- let's go with the flow. So let's say with the help of the mongoose, we should we know how we can create our schema with the help of the mongoose. That is a package. So it will help us to create our schema, obviously schema and the collection in our database. And let's say, so I'll give it a name. So you can give it any name, your schema. So I'll say book schema, and I'll say mongoose dot schema, and I'll pass a curly brackets here. So now I need to pass in which format I want to create my book. So I'll say it should be the title of the book first. So I'll say the title should be type, in which format you want the title. So I'll say type should be a string, and it should be required as well. And I'll pass this true. And let's say if you want your book very specific and you don't want that the similar name of that book should be created in your database. So you can pass this boolean value here as well. You can pass it as true. So when once you're done with this and when you're going to create a same book which I've already created, I think it will show you that that book is already existed in our database. So this is how we can handle that the uniqueness in our data uh, to show that our database does not basically store those stores only different books. So I'll say now I want to pass a date as well. So I'll say created, and when the user create a book, so they should also know that in which date it is created. So I'll say date. I'll pass a date here, and I'll say comma. Now I will pass my date. So I'll say um, default. It should be a default. If you don't pass any date, it should pass that date basically by default. So I'll say date dot now. Now when you're whenever you want to create a book and when you don't pass any date, it will automatically pass that data basically date. I'm sorry, my bad. It will automatically pass that date to that particular book. That when was that date that that book was created, basically, and it will show us that how we can create our book. So I'll say title is created, and we can also pass the author, which I will show you in the future, because every user. I, yesterday I told you that when I'm done with the in the future when we'll create our middleware, then I'll show you how we can basically a particular user can create their own book and they can access their own book to basically delete it or update their book's title. So yeah, and you can also add basically description here. So I'll say description and I'll pass the type, and it should be type string, and and, and it is required true. So yeah, this is I think something which my book schema is done now. Now I need to export it. So when I create my model, books model basically, I need to pass over there. I need to import it over there. So to access this book schema, I need to export it. So I'll say book schema. Okay, so now I'm done with this with the book schema. Book schema is already created. And now I need to create our book models.js. And now I need basically to create the model. I need the help of the modules. So I need to import it as well. So I'll say we'll import it and I'll say const. I'll create my book model here. So I'll say book models and I'll say mongoose dot model. And inside this model, I need to pass my collection here. Just like we were basically passing in, we have passed our user collection. And so I'll say books or like say it should be a books like, and I'll say comma. Now I need to pass my book schema. So I'll say book schema, and my book schema is already imported automatically with the help of this VS Code. Now I need to do nothing but to basically export this schema. Oh, sorry, model. So once we are done with this, we tomorrow I'll show you how when we are going to create our route. Then we will use this basically model over there. Just like we were able to use that user model in our user router. So I'll say book models, and yes, yes done. So this is how we can create our books schema and the books model. And you can And this is not something that is very hard and fast rule that you need to create only these three things. You can create as much as you want. You can create even price as well if you want. You can add price as well as a number, as a type number here as well. So I'll say type, and it should be a number. So you can pass it as well, and you can pass the required true. So once you create this book, you need to pass that title, description, and price. And you can also add the rating as well. So I'll say type, and let's say it should be a say number, one, and it should be true. See, this is how we can create our book schema, and I think this is much enough for now. And yeah, cool. This is something I want to show you how we can create our book schema and the books model today. And we're going step by step. So that is why I'm taking it very, very slow here. Uh, I don't want to basically bombard those things like in one video. I don't need to create a book schema and a books model, and then at the same time I don't want to create those routes. So it will take a time, and the video length might get might be lengthy, and maybe I'm not. Maybe at that moment I can say that I won't be able to create that specific video. That's what specific type of video, and I won't be at the same time I won't be able to add those that content. So I wanted to go with very slow pace. And yeah, with this, I should end this video. Thank you, everyone.